Every man wants to be loved, but very few ever stop to ask what love means to a woman. You can give her attention, affection, even devotion, yet still feel her heart slipping away. Why? Because before a woman can truly love you, she must feel something deeper than attraction. She must feel safe. Not safe in the physical sense, but safe in your energy. Safe to express herself without being judged. Safe to feel her emotions without fearing your reaction. Safe to trust that your presence won't vanish the moment she becomes vulnerable. That's what every woman is quietly testing for long before she gives her heart. Because the feminine doesn't fall in love with words. It falls in love with stability. A woman can admire your confidence, respect your drive, even enjoy your humor. But she can't love you until she feels she can surrender into your peace. Because feminine love isn't logical, it's emotional surrender. It's her spirit saying, I can rest here. And that rest is impossible if she feels like she has to manage your emotions, compete for your attention, or guide your direction. The feminine only blooms in the presence of masculine certainty. That's why some men can do everything right and still lose her. They text consistently, give attention, stay kind, yet she still drifts. Not because she doesn't care, but because she never felt safe enough to open fully. She didn't feel your center, your calm, your emotional authority. And without that foundation, love can't grow. It only survives temporarily, like a flame in the wind. Before a woman can truly love you, she needs to sense that your emotions are anchored, not dependent on hers. She needs to know that you won't crumble when she's distant or overreact when she's emotional. She needs to feel that her vulnerability won't be weaponized, that her feelings can exist inside your frame without breaking it. That's when her heart begins to trust you. Not the man you show the world, but the peace you carry in private. Because love to a woman isn't built through constant reassurance. It's built through emotional leadership. The kind of strength that doesn't need to prove itself. The kind of patience that doesn't panic under pressure. The kind of silence that says, I'm here, and I'm not leaving my center. So if you've ever wondered why some women fall deeply for one man but feel nothing for another, it's not mystery. It's energetic compatibility. Because before she can truly love you, she must first feel safe inside your presence. And until your energy becomes a space where she can finally stop performing, she'll never be able to truly rest in your love. Before we start, a quick reminder. The real transformation doesn't happen on YouTube. It happens inside the community. If these videos have opened your eyes, what's inside will rebuild your mindset completely. It's not just a course, it's a brotherhood, a private space where men master attraction, emotional control, and the psychology of power. You don't join for a month, you join for life. Every future course, book, and lesson is yours forever. No subscriptions, no limits, just one decision that changes your direction. If you're serious about growth, discipline, and purpose, click the link below. Join the community. Enroll once, grow forever. Let's dive in. Section 1. The foundation of female trust. Before a woman can open her heart to you, she must first trust you. But trust to a woman isn't built from logic, it's built from energy. It's not about promises or plans, it's about how her nervous system reacts when she's near you. If her body relaxes, if her breath slows, if her emotions settle, that's trust being built. But if her instincts feel tension in your tone or uncertainty in your presence, she'll hold back, no matter how much she likes you. The foundation of female trust, not found in what you say, it's found in what she feels around you. She doesn't listen to your declarations of love. She listens to your emotional consistency. Because words can lie, but energy never does. You could tell her she's safe, but if your emotions are unstable, she'll feel the opposite. You could promise her loyalty, but if your energy vibrates with need or insecurity, she won't believe it. Trust to the feminine is not a concept, it's a sensation. And this is what separates high-value men from the rest. Most men think trust is earned through effort, through constant reassurance, attention, or sacrifice. But women don't trust effort. They trust emotional reliability. The man who doesn't waver when tested. The man who doesn't beg when distanced. The man whose silence carries strength, not punishment. That's the man she can trust, because he's shown her without words that his emotions are disciplined. Trust begins when she realizes your peace is not conditional. When she sees that your mood doesn't depend on her approval and your confidence doesn't collapse with her confusion, she starts to understand that she can be fully herself. Messy, emotional, imperfect. And your energy will remain the same. That's when the feminine begins to relax. Because deep down, every woman is looking for one thing: emotional containment. A man whose presence can hold her intensity without losing himself. You can't fake that kind of steadiness. You can't pretend to be calm. It must be built through self-mastery, through solitude, through purpose, through learning how to control your breath, your reactions, and your impulses. That's how you become emotionally trustworthy. Because when your world doesn't shake easily, neither will hers. A woman's trust is fragile, but once earned, it's sacred. It's not about dominance. It's about dependability. It's about her knowing that no matter how chaotic she feels, your energy will stay calm. That's what allows her to love without fear, because for the feminine heart, love without safety feels like drowning, but love within safety feels like freedom. So remember this: you don't build trust by promising her the world. You build it by becoming unshakable within it. When your presence feels steady, your emotions feel safe, and your energy becomes the one place she doesn't have to pretend. That's when love stops being fragile and starts becoming forever. Section 2. Why emotional leadership comes before love. Before a woman can truly love you, she must feel that your energy can lead her emotions. Not control them, not silence them, but guide them. This is what most men miss. They think love comes first and leadership follows. But in female psychology, it's the opposite. Emotional leadership is the soil in which love grows. Without it, attraction fades, tension rises, and she begins to doubt your strength. Not because she wants to dominate, but because her spirit can't relax in uncertainty. Emotional leadership doesn't mean authority, it means direction. It's the silent confidence that says no matter how intense this moment becomes, I won't lose my center. It's your ability to stay composed when she's emotional, calm when she's chaotic, and grounded when she's unsure. Because the feminine isn't looking for control, she's looking for containment. She wants to feel your steadiness when she's in her storms. That's not dominance, that's safety. Most men crumble in the face of feminine emotion. They interpret her intensity as rejection, her silence as disinterest, her tears as manipulation. But a woman's emotion isn't a test you're meant to win. It's an invitation you're meant to understand. She wants to feel that you can handle the full spectrum of her emotions without judgment or panic. Because if you can hold her chaos without losing your calm, she can finally surrender. That surrender is not submission. It's trust in your emotional leadership. When you lack emotional leadership, she feels the burden of guiding the relationship. She begins to manage, to plan, to control. Not because she wants to, but because she has to. The feminine only leads when the masculine is absent. But when you reclaim your emotional authority, her natural polarity restores itself. She softens, she trusts, she follows. not because you demanded it, but because your calm energy made her want to. This is why masculine peace is more powerful than persuasion. You don't need to convince her to trust you. You need to become the kind of man her emotions can trust. The man who doesn't shout to be heard because his silence already commands attention. The man who doesn't react to every emotion because his presence already regulates the space. That's the essence of emotional leadership, stillness that leads without force. Understand this: women don't fall in love with chaos. They fall in love with direction. The man whose emotions have purpose, whose calm is contagious, whose actions align with his words. That's the kind of energy she can love freely without fear. Because she knows your strength isn't about control, it's about capacity. When you lead emotionally, love naturally follows. Because true leadership doesn't demand loyalty, it inspires it. And when a woman feels emotionally led, she doesn't question whether she loves you. She simply feels safe, too. Section 3. What makes a woman emotionally open? Every man wants a woman who's open, emotionally expressive, affectionate, connected. But very few understand what makes her open. You can't force a woman to share her feelings, just like you can't force a flower to bloom. It doesn't open through pressure. It opens through environment. The feminine heart unfolds only in the presence of safety, patience, and peace. A woman's emotional openness is not a choice she makes. It's a response to your energy. When your presence feels calm, her emotions begin to surface naturally. When your tone carries patience instead of pressure, her words begin to flow. When your body language says, "I can handle you," her walls start to fall. Because emotional openness isn't about getting her to talk, it's about giving her the space to feel. Most men try to open a woman by asking questions, solving problems, or giving reassurance. But that approach usually backfires, not because their intentions are bad, but because their energy is needy. They're trying to pull emotion out of her instead of inviting it. The feminine doesn't open to effort. It opens to energy alignment. When she feels that your emotions are steady, she begins to trust hers. That trust is what unlocks her vulnerability. A woman will only open emotionally when she feels that your energy won't collapse under her truth. When she senses that you can listen without rushing to fix, understand without judging, and stay calm even when she's not. Because to the feminine, emotion is movement, and she can't flow freely if your energy feels rigid or reactive. You don't need to absorb her feelings. You just need to hold them. That's emotional containment, the art of being strong without being cold. It's also why emotional maturity is magnetic. When you can hold space for her without losing your balance, she feels something rare. Emotional permission. Permission to be unfiltered. Permission to express without punishment. Permission to be seen, not managed. That's when she begins to trust your masculine core, not because you're controlling her, but because you've shown her that nothing she feels can shake you. And here's the paradox. The more emotionally open she becomes, the more feminine energy flows through her, becomes softer, warmer, more connected. Not because you changed her, but because your peace allowed her to return to her natural state. You didn't teach her how to feel. You reminded her it was safe to. So, if you ever wonder why a woman opens up to one man and stays close to another, it's simple. She opens where she feels safe, and she closes where she feels tested. Your job isn't to pull her closer, it's to create an energy so steady that closeness becomes inevitable. Because in the end, you can't make her open through words. You make her open through presence. When your energy says you don't need to perform here, she'll finally let you see the side of her no one else gets to witness, the real her. Section 4. The emotional test. Every woman gives, and how to pass it calmly. Every woman, consciously or not, will test your emotions. Not to hurt you, not to play games, but to feel you, to measure the depth of your peace, steadiness of your energy, the truth behind your composure. These tests aren't about manipulation. They're about safety. A woman doesn't want to destroy your calm. She wants to know it's real. She will question your words, challenge your patience, sometimes even withdraw her affection. Not to punish you, but to see if your peace depends on her reaction. Because here's what most men never realize. She can't trust your love if it collapses the moment she becomes emotional. The feminine tests to find the edge of your emotional leadership, to know if your silence is power or insecurity, to see if your calm is genuine or fragile. Failing the test doesn't make you weak. Reacting does. The moment you lose control, defend yourself, or demand reassurance, you confirm her deepest fear, that your calm is conditional, that your strength was just performance. But when you stay composed, when you breathe, listen, and respond with clarity instead of ego, she feels something shift. Her energy softens. Her testing stops, because now she knows you can handle her truth. The secret to passing every emotional test is understanding that it's not about her words, it's about her state. She might say something sharp, distant, or confusing, but underneath, she's asking one silent question. Can I still trust your presence when I'm not my best? Your job isn't to fix her tone or defend your ego. Your job is to stay unmoved, to stay patient enough to hear what she's not saying, that she wants to feel your emotional strength, not your emotional reaction. A Stoic man doesn't rush to correct. He observes. He doesn't mirror her chaos. He absorbs it without losing form. His calm isn't cold. It's protective. It tells her, your emotions are safe here. I don't need you to be perfect for me to stay. And in that moment, she feels something every woman secretly longs for: freedom within stability. You see, when she tests you, she's not trying to control you. She's trying to feel that she doesn't have to. When she sees you stand tall through her storm, she realizes she doesn't need to lead anymore. She can relax. She can trust. That's when attraction deepens into attachment. So don't fear her tests. Expect them. They're not obstacles. They're invitations to demonstrate your stillness. When you pass them with composure, you're not just winning her respect, you're proving your peace. Because the truth is simple. A woman doesn't test you to break you. She tests you to find the one thing she can finally lean on. And when she finds it in your silence, she doesn't need to test again. She just surrenders. Section 5. How presence turns love into devotion. Love begins with attraction, but devotion, the kind of love that endures storms, silence, and distance, begins with presence. A woman doesn't devote herself to words or gestures. She devotes herself to how. You make her feel when you're not even speaking. Because your presence, more than anything else, is the language her heart understands. Presence is not about proximity. You can be sitting beside her and still feel miles apart. True presence is energetic. It's the state of being fully here. No distractions, no agenda, no noise. Just grounded awareness that says, I see you, and I'm not rushing this moment. When a man embodies that kind of focus, a woman feels something she rarely experiences in today's world. Peace inside attention. Most men underestimate how deeply women crave emotional stillness. They think connection is about excitement, dates, surprises, constant conversation. But connection isn't built through activity. It's built through attunement. When your energy listens more than your mouth speaks, she feels understood without needing to explain. That's what presence does. It turns ordinary moments into emotional safety. Presence is not a skill you perform, it's a state you live. It comes from having your mind anchored in now, not in fear, not in future, not in the outcome. When you bring that kind of stillness into a woman's world, her energy begins to mirror yours. Her anxiety slows down. Her overthinking fades. Her emotions stop fighting for direction because your energy already provides one. That's when love evolves into something deeper, devotion. You see, love is often emotional. It's reactive, passionate, sometimes chaotic. But devotion is spiritual. It's steady, silent, and sacred. A woman doesn't devote herself to perfection. She devotes herself to presence that feels eternal, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself because it already is. This is why the Stoic man's presence is irresistible. He doesn't chase her attention, he commands it through peace. He doesn't need to fill the silence, he makes silence feel meaningful. His calm isn't dull, it's magnetic, because in a world full of men who talk too much, his stillness feels like truth. When a woman experiences your presence on that level, her attraction deepens into loyalty. Not because you forced it, but because her soul recognizes something familiar in your calm, something ancient, something she can belong to. Presence turns love into devotion because it replaces uncertainty with peace. It reminds her that real connection doesn't need intensity, it needs consistency. And when your presence gives her that, she doesn't just love you emotionally, she begins to love you instinctively. Because to the feminine, devotion is not a decision, it's a response. And that response only awakens in the presence of a man whose stillness feels like home. Section 6. Why feminine energy expands around stability. The feminine is motion. It feels, flows, reacts, expresses. Its beauty lives in change. But movement without stability feels unsafe, like wind with no ground beneath it. That's why feminine energy only expands in the presence of stability. When a woman meets a man whose calm doesn't crack, whose silence doesn't threaten, whose direction doesn't shake, something inside her finally exhales. Her emotions begin to flow. Her warmth returns. Her softness awakens. Stability doesn't mean control, it means consistency. The masculine doesn't have to fix her storms. He simply has to remain anchored while they pass, because the feminine isn't afraid of her own emotion. She's afraid of what her emotion might do to you. If she senses that her sadness, anger, or vulnerability will make you retreat or explode, she will close. But if she senses that your presence stays steady no matter what, she opens deeper. That opening isn't obedience, it's trust being reborn. The modern world teaches men to chase intensity, to mirror chaos, to confuse excitement with connection. But attraction built on adrenaline fades. The attraction built on stability endures. When your presence feels grounded, she doesn't need to test you. Her instinct already knows she's safe. That's why women gravitate toward men who move slowly, speak softly, and choose deliberately. Their energy feels like home in a world that never stops moving. Stability is not coldness, it's containment. It's the power to absorb emotion without being consumed by it. It's the discipline to listen without judging and to love without needing control. That kind of energy doesn't suppress the feminine, it invites it. Because when she feels she can be emotional without destabilizing you, her feminine energy starts to bloom in its truest form. Playful, creative, radiant. A woman in the presence of a stable man feels something rare. Permission to be fully feminine. She laughs easier. Her tone softens. Her guard lowers. She stops needing to protect herself and starts wanting to connect. Your stability gives her the freedom to explore her own emotions without fear. It doesn't make her smaller, it makes her more herself. That's why a truly masculine man is never loud. He doesn't need to prove his strength. His peace proves it for him. His presence doesn't push her to change. It reminds her that she can simply be. And in that being, love ceases to be a transaction and becomes transformation. Her energy expands around his stability like water around rock, not because he resists her, but because he grounds her. Remember this, the feminine is not searching for a perfect man. She's searching for a steady one, a man whose peace can withstand her waves. Because when she feels that, when she knows your presence won't run at the first sign of emotion, she doesn't just fall in love with you. She relaxes into you. And that's when feminine energy does what it was always meant to do: expand, express, and elevate everything around your calm. In short, when a woman says, "I love you," she's not talking about words, she's describing a feeling. She doesn't mean, "I admire you" or "I'm impressed by you." What she really means is, "I feel safe enough to be myself around you." That's what love means to the feminine: freedom without fear. Because a woman can only love where she can relax. A woman's heart isn't moved by perfection, it's moved by presence. It's touched by the way you stay calm when she's emotional, patient when she's uncertain, steady when she's storming. Every time she tests your peace and finds that it doesn't disappear, her love deepens. Because her love isn't based on your achievements, it's based on your energy. She falls for the man who can hold her emotions without judging them, who can listen without trying to fix, who can lead without controlling. That's what she really means when she says, "I love you." She's saying, "I feel safe to soften." She's saying, "Your presence quiets my mind." She's saying, "I can stop protecting myself now." And that's the essence of feminine love: surrender through safety. But here's the paradox: she can only surrender when your masculine energy gives her the strength to love. For the feminine isn't about being swept away, it's about trusting the current, and you become that current through emotional consistency. Most men chase love through effort. They overgive, overtalk, overpromise. But true love isn't created by movement, it's created by stillness. A woman doesn't fall for the man who tries the hardest. She falls for the man whose silence feels like peace. Because peace tells her what words never could, that he's not going anywhere. When you understand this, you stop performing for love. You stop needing to prove that you're worthy of it. Instead, you start embodying it. Your energy becomes calm, your actions become consistent, and your presence becomes medicine. You stop searching for love and start attracting it naturally. Because the kind of love a woman gives isn't earned through convincing. It's awakened through trust. That's why the Stoic man never chases love. He creates the environment where it can grow. His strength doesn't intimidate, it soothes. His calm doesn't suppress, it stabilizes. His silence doesn't distance, it invites. And through that quiet strength, he gives her what she's been searching for her entire life: peace inside passion. When she finally feels that, when she feels safe, grounded, seen, her love becomes effortless. She doesn't have to think about it. She doesn't have to guard it. It flows from her like breath. Because in the end, love isn't what she gives you. It's what she becomes in the safety of your presence. Remember, knowledge means nothing without action. If you're ready to rise above emotion and lead with purpose, join the community today at the Stoic Hub. Enroll once, grow forever.